Hello, English learners. Hello, naturals. If you don't already know me, I'm Gabby Wallace from GoNaturalEnglish.com. Today, I was chatting with one of my premium complete English course members, and he told me, I was surprised to hear this, but he told me his favorite part of the course is the phrasal verb lessons. And I guess this is because phrasal verbs are so difficult for all English learners. I mean, really, they're crazy. So in this lesson, I want to share some knowledge with you about how you can understand phrasal verbs and one phrasal verb in particular. This style of lesson is like what we have inside our complete English course at Go Natural English. It's called Fluent Communication 2.0. If you're interested in getting details and information about the course and how to join, click on a link in the description, or you can click right up there. We have a link to get information, to pre-register, to get the details. Okay, so first of all, what is a phrasal verb? A phrasal verb is a verb plus a preposition. So, for example, to go. To go is a very basic verb. I think you know what it means. To move from one place to another. Let's go to the store. To go on vacation would be a great idea. To go, and then plus a preposition. A preposition could be like to, through, by. Let's look at through, because today I'm going to share 9 different ways that you can use this phrasal verb to go through. So through usually means to transverse through a narrow area. Like, let's go through the streets. Let's go through the hallway. Let's go through the door. Let's go through, just using through as a preposition, not necessarily as a phrasal verb. So through, I think of through some narrow streets. Let's go through the tiny historic streets of Tokyo. But as a phrasal verb, we can use this in 9 different ways, to go through in 9 different ways. So let's take a look, because the best way for you to learn about phrasal verbs is to see how we use the phrasal verb, to see a lot of examples and to listen to the examples, and then you will start to notice how others use the phrasal verb. You will start to use the phrasal verb. It's all about getting exposure or inputs with these phrasal verbs, and these are very, very common. Okay, so to go through, the first thing I think of, the first usage I think of is to search thoroughly or carefully. So go through your contacts in your phone and see if you have John's number. So you're searching your contacts. We can also say search your contacts, but it sounds more native-like and more natural to say go through your contacts in your phone. How about, hey, I sent you an email. You didn't get it? Go through your email and check to see if you got my email. Go through your papers to see if you can find your lease, like if you have an apartment lease or something. What else could we search through? Oh, I can't find the match to one of my socks. You know how socks come in pairs? Well, I can only find one sock. So let's go through my socks to find the missing one. This is a problem that we all have, isn't it? Okay, so I like going through my clothes to update my wardrobe or my style. So remember, we can change the tense here. We could say went through or will go through. So for example, when I was packing for vacation, I went through my documents to find my passport. Okay, so let's look at another usage of to go through. It can be for something to be officially approved or completed. To be officially completed or approved. So, for example, I was waiting for the sale of my home to go through before I moved. So, to be officially completed, right? But it sounds more natural, more native-like to use a phrasal verb in this case and in most cases. My sister is waiting for the merger to go through before she buys stock in the company. So merger is when two companies go together, merge together, or move together. Once the judge allowed the verdict to go through, the courtroom sighed with relief. I'm looking over at the Go Natural English blog because we have these examples and more over at gonaturalenglish.com/blog. Okay, so we could also say the call didn't go through. Like the call was not completed, right? So that's another way to use go through. I tried to call you, but it seemed like the phone wasn't working or the service was bad and the call didn't go through. Bummer. Okay, so let's look at another use. To undergo, usually a difficult experience. So, let's say a difficult experience would be a breakup, right? So, I'm sorry to hear about your breakup and everything you're going through. Must be difficult. Okay, what else could we say? He had a bad skiing accident, so he will have to go through a few surgeries to fix his knee. You guys can't see how fast I can type. Let's look at another example. We have more examples on the blog, but one more example. Sometimes you need to go through a difficult experience to appreciate an easy one. Excellent. So this is very common. Let's look at another way of using to go through. Oh, to use or spend completely. I bought a lot of snacks and went through them within hours. So sometimes I do this where I buy cookies or some treats for the whole week and then I go through them like within a few hours. It's horrible. No willpower. So we went through all our snacks about halfway into our road trip. A road trip is when you drive somewhere, when you go on vacation, driving to that place. If you ever go to a casino, be sure to not go through all your money. Notice also, this is super important, with the phrasal verb to go through, we never separate the verb and the preposition. So some phrasal verbs you can separate, but with go through, 99% of the time, you're going to keep go and through together. Let's look at another way to use go through, which is to become a law or rule. So, if a law goes through, or if it goes through a law-making institution, it is officially approved. That's what it means to be officially approved. Hopefully, the changes we suggested will go through and our spending budget for the new fiscal year will be much larger. Sounds very businessy. But go through is also a phrasal verb that we use in business situations. Okay, let's look at another way to use to go through, which is to be successively, not successfully, but successively published, which means time after time again, new additions. So, for example, the Diccionario de la Real Academia Española, one of the most popular Castilian Spanish dictionaries, well, it has gone through 23 revisions since first being published in 1780. It's a lot of revisions that it has gone through. So, upgrading or updating means to go through changes, to go through upgrades or to go through updates or to go through revisions, as this example says. If you're writing a paper, a thesis, a report, it might go through updates or changes. So to go through updates, upgrades, revisions, changes. For example, if you're writing a thesis, a report, or what else did I say? It could be an essay. Anything that you need to work on in stages could go through revisions or changes. Next meaning of to go through is to have a quick thought or idea. So a thought just went through my mind. Why don't we get pizza tonight? Yeah, because I'm always thinking about food. So we usually use to go through with a thought or an idea. An idea went through my, my mind about the theme of our party. We should have how about an X-Men theme? Yes, that would be so cool. Okay. If you are naming your puppy or naming your child, I've gone through many names, but my partner doesn't like any of them. Okay, let's look at another way to use to go through. This is the last way, okay? And then we have some related words and phrases. So we'll end with a little bonus, but to go through can also mean to practice something. So let's go through these examples one last time. Or let's go through these ways to use to go through one last time to summarize. So we have to search. All right, let's go through the different ways to use to go through. To search carefully for something to be approved or completed, which are kind of different things, but we included them together. To undergo a painful experience or a difficult experience. To use or spend completely. To perform a set of actions you do regularly. Just realized I didn't mention that one. So let's make sure I've gone through all of the meanings of to go through. I go through the mail every evening after I get home from work. I regularly do this. I make sure I go through all of the instructions when I am cooking a new recipe for the first time. My new trainer at the gym has me going through different sets of exercise repetitions. So going through exercises, for example. And then we have to become a law or rule, to be successively published, to have a quick thought or idea, or to practice something. Excellent. Now, just to complete our lesson, let's look at some related words or phrases. To go through with something means to approve and to proceed with something. So, would you like to go through with the transaction? Yes, I would like to go through with it, or I would like to buy that item. So often if you're on the phone buying something, the operator or the staff person or the salesperson will ask you, do you approve this purchase? Do you want to go through with this purchase? So to proceed is basically what it means. To go through the roof. Now we're going to look at some phrases. To go through the roof means to increase or to rise quickly. So prices of limes have gone through, the price of limes, I should say, because it's one price really. The price of limes has gone through the roof in the last week. It actually has. So I'm here in Brazil and limes were 2 Brazilian reals last week and now they're 3. So yes, it's gone through the roof. Okay, to go through the floor is another phrase, but it's mostly British English, which means to go to a low level, like not something to be proud of, but in American English we don't really use that, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. To go through the motions means just to do some actions without really being very happy about it. You're just doing your routine. You're not really thinking. You're not really trying. So if you go to the gym and you just go through the motions, you're probably not getting a very good workout because you're not putting any effort into that. So when you live life, try not to just go through the motions. Try to actually put some feeling into it. To go through your paces means to see what you're capable of. So if you're in an interview, your interviewer might put you through your paces. To go through a red light is a bad idea unless you like tickets. So if you go through a red light, you're driving probably, and you could get pulled over. You could get a ticket because it's against the law to go through a red light, of course. To go through or to put someone through the mill is to make them do a lot of work. To go through, this is the last one, the ringer, is to really put someone through an unpleasant situation where you're making them do a lot of unnecessary things. And related to this, we could also say to go through hell and back, which is to experience a very difficult situation. Kind of related to go through a difficult or undergo a difficult situation. Like, oh, this going through this breakup has been like going to hell and back, or like going through hell and back. Going through this breakup has been like going through hell and back. Ooh, we used it 2 times in one sentence. Rock and roll. We are doing so good with to go through. So probably now your head is spinning and you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many different ways to use to go through. What I would suggest for improving your English is to review this lesson and choose maybe 1 or 2 uses of to go through and try creating your own sentences. Try using those sentences to write some sentences, to speak, to say those sentences out loud, to record yourself saying those sentences and even using those sentences in your next conversation. So do it now, practice. Please take advantage of this free lesson. And as I mentioned, if you are interested in building your confidence, getting practice and feedback on your English and having over 250 amazing lessons similar to this one, you can get more information on our complete English course at gonaturalenglish.com. The link is in the description or also right up there to pre-register for information on the course and to know when the next registration opening will be, because it's not open all the time. You need to pre-register to get information and learn about when the next group will open. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Share this with a friend if you found it useful. Ask me in the comments or tell me in the comments any questions or any practice that you want to do with go through. Try using some of these different ways of using go through. Leave your examples in the comments. I would love to see your work. Thanks so much for watching. Come back to Go Natural English for more amazing, awesome